Just look at this picture. Everyone happy, having a good time. But there is something wrong with this picture. Yep. This roast I made, this to the people I personally known since high school, and it was my biggest regret by being friends with them for 4.5 years. I treated them like brothers, and I thought I knew them, but I didn't. And guys, you might be glad and surprised if you ended up seeing this video. For Brandon Robinson, the reason why I despise him is because, 1, he has low moral. Brandon is not afraid of showing off in front of his friends. Like when he goes to the bathroom, he comes right back and flashes his junk right in front of you, or he will tell you some nasty shit of what he did to his brother, like spurting on his face while he's asleep and laughing while he watched his brother wiping jizz off his face, making him think that it was spit. I know, it's nasty. Even I didn't think that it was funny. That kind of shit that he pulled is called inbreeding. Like, really, dude? That ain't right, and nobody wants to see your junk. We get it. You're a guy. You don't have to show off just to prove your point. He listens to no one but himself and makes an ass out of himself. 2. He doesn't take a no for an answer or respects people's policies. To be honest, I used to do things with him back in the day, like smoking, but not anymore. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore because it would lead me to the path that I don't want to go. And I don't want to go to jail, but for Brandon, he does all kinds of things. And some of this, he doesn't want anybody to know. Cigarettes, weed, booze, meth, all that kinds of things. Yeah, I know, some people would say weed isn't a drug, but for the law, to them, it's currently a drug. One night, I had a big can of Monster, aka energy drink, and Brandon decided to drop by and picked me and Kevin up. He didn't tell us anything of what we were doing that night, but ended up surprising us. His dad went into Walmart and came back with a Captain Morgan Black, a whiskey. Now, I thought it was for him. Turns out, when he went to his place, he wanted us to drink that night. I told him 50 times I'm not a drinker. Why? Because I don't do that kind of stuff. And my side of the story, some of my family has a bad history, and it involves bad relationship and abuse. And I don't want to turn out like that. And plus, that doesn't make me a pussy. That makes me smart because I'd rather keep my brain cells and don't wound up dead over alcohol poisoning or an accident. So, who's a real dumbass? Usually when someone says no, it means no, and you have to respect that. But for Brandon, oh no, he keeps pushing it. Come on, man, come on. I never see you drunk. I just want you to have fun. You need to let things go. And when you say otherwise about booze, he gets pissed off. So I put my foot down and said, no. He gets mad, but I did told him I would rather have a soda pop. So he went in the kitchen and gave me a pop. But when he did, I took a big guzzle out of it, and turns out he fucking spiked it. I got pissed. I said no to him. He just chose not to listen to me. As all of you don't know, energy drinks speeds up your heart, and Captain Morgan is a whiskey, and that slows your heart. If you ended up mixing those two, it will make your heart stop. So from that night, he almost killed me. I had to stay away from him for a while, but I'm not the only one who almost got killed by him. My little brother started to hang out with him, and he's just a kid. He did all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, he had to go to the hospital because of alcohol poisoning. And that's not all. If you hate someone, don't tell him. He will go behind your back, be friends with them. If you have a religion, he will bash it right in front of you, like playing metal and shouting God is dead, or flipping off the sky. If you have a girlfriend, don't tell him, because there's a good chance that he will steal her from you. So in other words, he does everything opposite, and does what he wants to do just for spite. So ladies, if you're watching this and you recognize him, and you or your girlfriend or you know someone who's dating him, you better show everyone this video and drop him, because he is using you, he is cheating on you, and having you as a backup. He told me himself, this is his own quote, if she breaks up with me, that's fine. I got 5 girlfriends that I'm dating. You think that I'm lying? Check on his phone, or his text messages, or his Facebook, everything. He might be smart by putting a lock on his phone, so for the heads up, and when you do find out, I bet his dick ain't gonna get wet tonight. So ladies, you're welcome. 3, he's nothing but drama. Yeah, I know, if you're friends with me and you've seen all my comments since I was in high school, I'm sorry, I was never like that. But now that you noticed I don't comment on Facebook very often, and yeah, you've seen my videos bashing few people, but that was a different story. But that time, I was with Brandon, and I'm always messed up. He would say that I brought it to myself. No, that is not true. He's always talking shit about everything and everyone. He even tried to pick a fight with me because he believed I was talking shit about him. And I didn't do anything back then. I was loyal to him. 4, he doesn't know what love or friends is. Again, like I said, he gets 5 girls, dating them at the same time just because he wants to have sex. Nothing else. I don't know why you would defend him like saying, oh, he doesn't do that. Well, newsflash, you've been lied to. And you think that he's a real man because you hear him say, I don't beat women? Well, explain this. Why in the hell would he threaten a girl named by kicking her in the stomach while she thinks that she might be pregnant and it's his kid? In this story, Brandon and was partying, ended up getting hammered, and woke up, and both of them didn't wear any pants, half-ass naked, and discovered some signs and discovered that she might have Brandon's baby. This is when we were in high school. You still think that's love? It's not. It's lust. Oh, look! On his profile, he has a girlfriend named Brittany. Well, we all know it ain't gonna last that long, and for a friend, he expected all of his friends to do the same thing like he does, like he's running a gang or something. In his little mind, he thinks this way. For a friend, either you do it my way or the highway, but in reality, it doesn't work like that. He even tried to turn me against my friends, like calling two-faced bitches, and tried to convince me that the reason why is friends with me is because she felt bad for me, and I didn't believe that, not one bit. The reason why is he came to me and cheered me up when I was in hard times, and she wanted me to stay out of trouble because she didn't want me to get into trouble or get into a fight, and came to my graduation party. And those are true friends. I know them. But Brandon didn't do any of those. He would rather get me all fucked up and get me into trouble. And he wonders, why is he losing his friends? He thinks that everybody is a two-faced bitch, but the true two-faced bitch is him and not anybody around him. He lost me and because he's been pulling the same shit on all of us. Being a damn backstabber. When he went to the hospital, Brandon said, I don't give a fuck about him. I want him dead. I wish he was dead. For every time he leaves the room, Brandon keeps calling him retarded. And for me, we ended up being betrayed. So real friends don't do that type of shit to each other. Brandon is no friend or a lover to anyone. Neither is Kevin Brush. Kevin, I felt bad for him because he ain't right upstairs. And he probably does meth too. He's on here because this motherfucker did the same thing, but his story is different. When I was hanging out with him, he tells me everything, including of what Brandon did. Like every time he keeps getting a girlfriend, he has to show up to Brandon. And he hardly gets a girl and never had sex. Then Brandon keeps stealing his girlfriend. Kevin knew it, and he lets him. Take his girlfriend. He didn't kick his ass. He didn't do nothing. Why? Because it's his best friend. Well, to tell you the truth, if I had a girlfriend, and if I found out that he is fucking her, I'd drop her for cheating me and kick his ass. One day after I left Brandon's home, one incident, me and Kevin were hanging out, and Kevin told me about Brandon. I told him that me and him aren't friends because of what he did. I specifically told him, don't say anything to him, because he doesn't know why. Because one, I told him how I felt about this one particular person, and I told him to stay away from him. Plus, I said don't say anything to him, that I was talking shit about him, because if he finds out, then my boys will get involved, and I'm about to explain this. What do I have this particular person? A lot. Brennan not just tried to kill me, but ended up being friends with him after I told him everything about him. Kevin, he's like, okay, I won't say anything. Next thing you know, my boys called. Next thing you know, one of my nephews called him, and they were talking, and he told me that Brennan was right next to this guy. Brennan was right next to the guy that my oldest was talking to. I figured out that it was a setup. At that moment, I ended up getting my nephews taken away from me for the whole summer. Me and my family were isolated to see, hear, or speak to them. I called Kevin, and I ripped his ass, and I told him, did you say anything to him? He said, to be honest, yeah, I did. I didn't want you two fighting and all. I had to tell him so we can all get along and smoke together and be friends. I got fucking pissed off and told him, is that what you care about? Smoking? Thanks to your big ass loud mouth, it cost my neck. Thanks to you, me and my family is not allowed to see them. I stood up for you. I gave you good advices and became a true friend to you. And this is how you repay me? You're fucking bad as he is. After I dropped him and Brandon, my life changed a lot better than I was before. I laid off smoking, and I'm not planning to go back to that stuff. I thought it was over until I finally got the chance to see my nephews again. I had a nice talk with them, and when my oldest nephew was on the internet, he showed me his friends list, like this is Josh or David, etc., etc. Then when I scrolled through his friend list, I spotted Kevin and Brandon on his list. I got mad because now he's trying to crawl back into my life. And Montana told me that Brandon is trying to twist things around, saying I turned my back against him, making me look like a bad guy. Okay, yeah, right, dude. At least I ain't two-faced, atheist, drug addict, man whore who cares about no one but yourself and abuse women and dump them to the curb after you have no use for them. At least I ain't that type of who's like, whoops, I thought it was a fart, then ended up shitting in a hospital bed. Yeah, you were trying to embarrass me like, at least I ain't a cheater who copies off his friends' homework, or say that you're a little bitch and admits it, or got so fucked up that you said that you're gay. Okay, first of all, you can't embarrass me or roast me. I do that shit to myself before I give you any chance. Second, you say that I'm your bitch or say I'm gay. That's not me. That's the weed talk. It makes you say and do shit that you never thought you would. Hell, every time I try it, I see shit and pass out. It's called hallucination. I would never say that shit. Why? 'Cause I ain't no faggot. I would have to have 99 problems before I reach to that point, which it ain't gonna happen. Hell, I'd burn a gay flag to prove my point. And I ain't no one's bitch. I didn't want to fight because I was in high school. I didn't want to get it kicked out. And I don't want that on my record. And we used to be friends. I don't want to fight because there's no reason. And I'm a pacifist. But now, we're out of high school. Now, we ain't friends. So this is a whole different ball game. And third, I might be a cheater, but at least I ain't a shit-stirring dropout. You think God is dead? Well, I think philosophy is dead. I didn't preach to you about my belief, so why are you preaching about yours? I heard what you had to say. Now, it's my turn. I don't care what you believe. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. But you don't have to go on and on and on about it. If you don't believe in God, then why are you saying, God damn it, flipping off the sky, and listening to Manifest and Skillet? You do realize that they are religious groups, right? You could have said some scientific shit like Stephen Hawking, damn it, or something like that, I don't know, and wouldn't flip off the sky. You might believe that Stephen Hawking say, like, heaven is nothing but a fairy tale story for those who is afraid of the dark. Well, what John Lennox said in his quote, atheism is nothing but a fairy tale story for those who's afraid of the light. You might say that Stephen Hawking explains about gravity and the earth creating itself. Now, he might be right about some things, but John has demonstrated that no one, not two, but three errors of logic contained in his quote, and that all boils down to a circular reason. Hawking is basically saying that the universe exists because it needs to exist, therefore creating itself. It's like I give you an equipment to make a sandwich, like bread, cheese, ham, and mayo, and you stood there, did nothing, look at the equipment, and expected that it's going to make itself a sandwich. If it did, you would have been right. But in reality, it doesn't work like that. John Lennox, further on in his quote, nonsense remains nonsense, even spoken by famous scientists. You may think that religion is a disease. Well, let me tell you something. What you're doing isn't philosophy. It's not even atheism. What you're doing is an anti-theism. It's not enough that you don't believe. You need everyone around you to not believe with you. You would say, I don't want to go to heaven and visit grandma all day. Well, that's okay. Grandma doesn't want to see your snot-nosed stanky ass anyways. And why do you hate God? What did he ever do to you? Maybe because he might have taken everything away from you, may think that he made you the way that you are now, or maybe you're mad because he accidentally made you the ugly sister. So how could you hate someone that doesn't exist? Yeah, but if you're religious, then why are you cussing? Hey, I have my flaws, and everybody has theirs. Like abuse or smoking, there's a thing called nobody's perfect. So blame the person, not the group. Now, since I got what I had to say about my belief, let's talk about your choice of music that I call noise.
What you listening to, son?
I don't think you like it.
Well, why not? I like this new generation of music. Mother of God, it's all toilet sounds. What that person on your tape has is a medical disorder.
Dude, you need a new type of music. I don't care if you listen to rock, rap, country, or whatever, but metal isn't music. Listening to so-called artists with a fucked up name and albums like Miss May I, Thy Art is Murder, and I can't understand this one because it looks like splattered white paint on a black sheet, but it doesn't make you like them. You're just listening to a guy screaming out nonsense into the microphone. That type of shit is so terrible, it makes people like you more angry. If you keep thinking that way, you're gonna act like this guy. I would have given you two a layer of dignity if you weren't up each other's asses all the time. Hell, you can't even be 6 inches apart. Literally, one has a job working at a shitty fast food joint that only pays like maybe between $6 or $7 an hour, and your best friend's job is across the street. Now, the way that I heard, he probably works at McDonald's too. Every time I look at them, there's definitely something wrong with them. Here's how I look at them.
This is a medical disorder. This is a bitch.
But enough talk. Let's talk about the way they look in their photos. Here's the first photo of Kevin. Aggressive masturbation has a face. I bet if I threw a Super Bowl into the rush hour in traffic, he would chase it. I don't want to roast you because you might shoot up in my school. The reason why I said that is because he looks like a fat version of Rick off of Degrassi. He looks like the kid who tries out the football team to be cool and ended up getting molested in the locker room. You look like Snoop Dogg's retarded white cousin, Corn Dog. Being you is honestly my worst fear. I just got up at work. Get back on the bridge, you fucking troll. This is the ideal picture for your online dating profile. It sums up your life. Really dark, grainy, and depressing. You look like you would rape your own nephew. Really? You could have told me that you were a 35-year-old lesbian and I would have believed you. I'm surprised you're not used to being stood up by a customer by now. I bet you don't smell horrible at all. Not. Even though you stay in a Holiday Inn Express tonight, you still fail at everything you do tomorrow. You could say, are you done yet? Nope, not quite. I still got plenty more. Kevin's second photo. Did you draw your face? Should have drawn your eyes closer together. Found your baby picture. I thought artist girls were supposed to be nerdy cute, but you look like the product of multi-generational incest. I've looked at this photo for 5 minutes now, and I still have no idea what the hell you failed to be. I'm looking forward for seeing you in the news after you have sex with one of your students. You look like Kurt Cobain after a gunshot. Yes, I'll have fries with that. Wow, congrats. Must be pretty imitating, though. The thought of being surrounded by people who are smarter than you. Going in raw dog is third base to you.
Come here.
Dude, leave Dorothy alone already. Pictured. Fat chick with a solar system for scale. I guess getting roasted has become so easy, even a caveman could do it. How do you kill the hunchback of Notre Dame? You give him a knife and say, who's special? I bet Kevin probably tapped out of the argument.
Beat him until candy comes out.
You may be thin now, since you probably smoked a lot of crack, but when you look at the mirror, you're still that fat kid. Now for the other one, Brandon. Here's his first photo. You're likely responsible for 90% of all Sasquatch sightings in the U.S. You're literally the villain of the Green Lantern movie. Has a female ever spoken to you that wasn't tied up to a chair, begging for freedom? Jim Gaffigan, without a sense of humor or charisma. I hope I'm not that desperate for attention when I'm 40. You look like an oversized leprechaun with Down syndrome. Your beard is patchy as your mother's memory, the night she regretfully conceived you. You look like a poster bro for Jagger bombs and date rape. They need to know I smoke weed. Weed is cool. I'm cool. I hope they like my half smirk. Kevin probably still be willing to fuck her if she waxed her mustache. I'll put a bookshelf on the way to the bedroom so my Tinder matches think I'm smarter before I embarrass myself inside them. Pro tip, boys. Facial hair works a lot better if you wait until after puberty to try it. Specs, I think your boyfriend has AIDS. Oh, it gets better here, folks. Brandon's second photo. You look like a jelly bean that fell into a bowl of pubic hair. Top of your head looks like the residue tip of a condom. The fact that you told her Reddit can be better probably explains why she left you. I thought gay porn stars made more money than that. Chromosomes. Gotta catch 'em all. I can roast you very well with the help of a UV lamp. You look like Shelton Cooper and Elliot Rodgers' double autistic love child. If you see this guy near the black church, just go ahead and call the news. 60K is a lot for someone who has an extra chromosome. Looks like the gay incest baby of the lead singer from the Blues Travelers and his sister. Your eyes are so close together, I bet you cry one combined tear, straight down your nose. With a salary like that, you think you would be able to afford opening your eyes all the way. Well, I bet you're mad, or you're just sitting there saying ha ha ha, he's making a fool of himself. No, not really. If the cops might get a hold of this, it ain't going to be funny anymore. So, yeah, I'm the biggest rat you've ever met. I would have kept you secrets if you haven't ratted me out first. Consider this a payback. And don't try to lie or hide to or from the law, 'cause they will find evidence, keeps an eye on you, tests your blood and urine, and find your stashes, not just in your home, but your buddies as well. If you try to find me and assault me, there will be evidence to show. If you send me any kinds of threats, there will also be evidence. You're gonna say, I know where you live. Well, of course you know where I live. I know where I live too. Everybody knows. It's a small world. I bet my whole high school is glad I posted this video, because they consider him as a weirdo whose bedroom is a closet. And ladies, if you see these two again, avoid them. Drop them before they drop you.
Bullshitter alert!
You know, there is a phrase that fake-ass friends would stab you in the back, but true friends stab you in the front.